BeastNet is brought to you by James Safety Services in partnership with OCR Buddy and OCR Strong. Here we discuss all things OCR and fitness related. Welcome to BeastNet.
Yeah, so how have you been? We haven't even introduced you yet. So, by the way, listeners, this is Mike with BeastNet, and we've got Candace with us again. So I'm going kind of a different route. I've really this winter I've taken a break on a lot of stuff, so I've gained back a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, but enough that I need to do a little work again. But I tore my body up, over the last 2 years, just pushing as hard as I did. So,
Definitely.
Yeah,
I know that feeling. I think, I think a lot of us are feeling that way. Just this sort of with things being on again, off again, training really hard and then hurting ourselves, or like trying to overcome the lack of training and getting back to like where we were before COVID. I was just talking with a friend of mine who was asking me about like why did I decide to hire a trainer, this next level trainer when I haven't even reached my basic level that I was at fitness wise before COVID, right?
Yeah.
Before the pandemic. And I've had COVID twice now. The first time really took a toll on me. But just being able to get back to the point where I can like run at the same level and like do pull-ups at the same level and all of that, it's been really, really hard. I put on a bunch of weight too. And I know a lot of people who have, so I think, you'll be in good company when you're out there.
it's been rough. I mean, because the one thing is I push, right at the beginning of COVID, I pushed hard. And I mean, I dropped 100 pounds and did all this, but then it was like last year after I hit the 100 pounds, it's like, okay, I hit my goal and kind of slacked off a little bit. And then I had a couple races that didn't quite go my way that kind of, took the wind out of my sail a little bit and all that. So I've been kind of, it's been a, a rough couple months trying to get through it all. And the whole mental part of getting in your own head of, like I DNF the Ironman and everyone's like, why'd that happen? And I know why it happened. I'm not a good enough swimmer. And I didn't give myself, it was pretty much, I signed up for the Ironman like a month and a half before it happened and then said, hey, who wants to teach me how to swim?
I recall this. Yes. I was following your story. I really was. I was watching what we were posting and I was like blown away by everything you were doing. I mean, but you took on so much.
Yeah.
I really don't know why you would even be upset with yourself when you did so much in 1 year.
I know. And
it was insane to watch.
But it's tough sometimes because the whole mental part, it's hard to even get away from the mental because like a lot of people point that out. I mean, I did so much and I had one race that I DNF'd and I knew I wasn't ready for it. I knew I jumped in too quick. I knew I didn't train hard enough because I didn't have enough time. I only had a month and a half to train for the swim, and I was a self-taught swimmer who I could swim. It's like Amber always said, I could swim really good for about 20 feet and then I was screwed. And I had to swim 1.2 miles,
Yeah.
And I did the swim, I finished, and no one knows if I was quick enough or not because I lost my timing chip in the middle of the swim.
Oh, that doesn't help.
So I finished the swim before they made me DNF. So I finished that, but then I was so wiped out once I got on the bike. I just had no energy, everything was taken out of me because I fought so hard on that swim and I ended up DNFing because I didn't get back on the bike quick enough. So, but I did 56 miles on the bike. I mean, that was brutal. So,
I mean, no one can take that away from you.
No. And I've signed up. I already signed up. It was one of those ones. I mean, it was a week afterwards and I'm like, I need to do this. Now that I've DNF'd, I have to do it. So, but the big problem I'm running into now is the swim again, because there's nowhere to swim.
Well, you'll have to come out to Hawaii and take a visit.
I will. And when I was in Hawaii last year, I swam, I mean, not just in the ocean, the condo that we're at had a pool and I was doing laps in the pool, getting ready for because I was in Hawaii 2 weeks basically before, or it was about 3 weeks, about a month before the race, the Ironman. And that was part of it too. I did the trifecta weekend in Hawaii. 2 weeks later, did the Seattle trifecta weekend. And then the very next weekend was the Ironman. So it's like
Yeah.
I beat the hell out of my body for so long. And then it was just like afterwards, I'm like, I can't, so, and I put on about 30 pounds from that point. So I'm about 30 pounds more than I want to be, but I'll get back to where I was. I mean, right now it's just, now I'm signing up for races and looking at things. Like I said, when you signed on, I was trying to figure out the age group, which age group I'm in now. Cause if they go by, current age, I'm 44, but the end of the year, I'll be 45. So, trying to figure all that out. And, so how have you been? We haven't even introduced you yet. So by the way, listeners, this is Mike with BeastNet, and we've got Candace with us again. Candace Day, let everyone know who you are real quick. We're old friends. So of course we're just going to start talking. So.
Oh, who am I? Oh gosh. Okay. Well, in the like Spartan world of things, I am a Beast OCR ambassador still. I am also a sometimes age group, but also open Spartan race runner. And I don't really do much outside of Spartan racing, just because of like the timing of when they have the races, and the venues are so good that I just keep going back. So I keep saying I'm gonna quit, but I keep doing it. And I think I just passed about 30 races, started in 2016. Didn't do a lot that year, like 2 races. And then after that, just kind of scaled up. And I just had probably my biggest event yet, which was Abu Dhabi. I went to the World Championship in Abu Dhabi. I had the opportunity to run in the age group, but I chose to stick to the open because I actually had a injury and tore my gastroc tendon, which is actually, of all the tendons to tear in your leg, it's probably the best one to tear. And I was advised not to do this race because it would be miles and miles in the sand and the sun, and just having not had the ability to run before that, I was taken off running. I was told not to do it, but I, being who I am, I went, and I took my time, and I actually didn't do too much damage to my leg. It afterwards sucked, but made it through 14 plus miles. So it was pretty epic. Yeah, so I've done a number of races throughout the United States, 2 over in UAE now. I've raced in Tahoe, West Virginia, Seattle, Las Vegas, Florida, Georgia, Texas, California, Oregon, Montana, and so yeah, on Hawaii. So I've gotten really involved in the sport, been connected with quite a few amazing athletes as a result. And hopefully I don't lose you. I'm having a little trouble with my phone right at the moment. But yeah, I've been in contact with I met Joe DeCina. I've met Rose Wetzel, Nicole Miracle, Robert Killian. These are some of the big names. I got to meet briefly for a moment our newest world champion, Ryan Atkins, ran past me in Abu Dhabi. So that was cool. So I've been chatting with them on Instagram. They're really approachable, amazing people. And the one thing that I've noticed over and over again is that a lot of them talk about mindset. My coach, pro athlete out of UK, Jade Skillen, she's amazing. She has all these, mindset kind of calls that we do, and athlete development calls, and it's a big focus of her training. And it occurred to me that, what really makes the big deciding factor is not always like physical training. What makes the champions out there and what gets people out there in the first place is mindset, is the mental preparation of it. So I felt inspired to put together this business, and I'll be hosting retreats based around that and around OCR races. So
That sounds awesome. I mean,
Was that a long enough intro? Wow. When was I going to shut up?
no, that was awesome. That
Sorry.
was, my phone was vibrating and I was trying to move it out of the way and I opened it and it like started playing something. So, but it's like sitting on the desk and I can hear it vibrating and I don't know if you can hear it on the episode. So I was trying to move it out of the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
my phone keeps doing weird stuff too. So hopefully it won't die. I was in a call with Nicole Miracle last week, and right in the middle of it, it just decided to die.
Oh,
So
well, I know for me, I've actually finally got like, because we built a studio for the other shows that I do for Beads, really for my son Benton, and then everyone's like, you have a full studio in your house. Why don't you use it for BeastNet? And I'm like, I don't know. I just haven't set up my own, because the whole computer, everything is set up for him. So I don't even have like, I didn't have a login or nothing on the computer. So I'm like, well, I better just, finally do that. So I finally set up the whole, so I can record in here. That's why everything behind me is pretty much all Benton's pictures and stuff. So I'm sure Dawn wants me to get some BeastNet flag behind me, but whatever.
no, it looks like you're like I'm talking to a radio DJ.
Yeah, that's what this is set up for, is for a radio show. So yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Awesome.
So, and I mean,
yeah, I've come a long ways.
A lot of the stuff that we've talked about, because we've had you before. I mean, we've talked before, about the health issues with, trying to do stuff in the cold, doing stuff, in different temperatures and heat, cold, all that kind of stuff, and the problems that can run into, But it's the mindset thing is something, that we've really been focusing a lot on, here, for me anyway. That's a huge thing for me, is that I found the beginning of like 2020. That's when my mindset completely changed on everything. I backed out of, I switched jobs. I stepped down from leadership positions in just about every like group or anything I was in, and said, nope, I'm done. I need to focus on me, and that was kind of it. I felt like I hit that point where mentally I was doing so much trying to help others that I was ignoring myself. And that was the mental. Yeah. That was the mental I needed. I had to step back from pretty much everything and just say, okay. I mean, a lot of people even notice, even at that time, I stepped back from the podcast. I mean, Dawn and Lisa and Kyle were doing more than I was. I was completely out for a bit because I just needed that mental reset to get back to me, and that was really what 2020 was for me. That whole year of trying to lose the weight, exercising. I got back into running, started loving running again, and all that stuff. Had to go through the whole mental part of dealing with the pain in my foot until I finally got it, all the scar tissue out of it and everything, and got it moving. I still have, even 2 years later, I still get pops in my foot of scar tissue, breaking up. But it's that whole mental of still getting up and doing it every day. And that was, for the last 4 months, that's been my biggest struggle, is the mental, because it's just after the DNF. And then, I mean, I did the ultra, but that was kind of like, that had been a huge goal of mine for years. I want to do an ultra. I want to do it. And I finally did one. And then it's like, now what? I kind of hit that wall of, okay, I hit my 100 pounds lost. I hit the ultra. The only one I didn't get was the Ironman, which I'm going back for, but I hit all the goals, and I'm like, now what? What do I do now? My goal was less than a 6-hour marathon. I did less than a 5. So, once again, goals are, where do I go? And that's been the hard part for me the last 4 months, is getting that mental back. So I completely.
Yeah. Well, I think we're kind of trained in our society that our goals have to be something so intense, that they have to be, 100 miles, or, it just has to be this higher level in order for it to count. But if you really think about it, and that's something that we talk about on course a lot of times, it is achieving when you get up off that couch, when you actually put the shoes on, you lace up in the morning, you get out there, you have to recognize that too is a goal that you're achieving, and I think that it's just so easy in our society that, like, we always highlight the people that are like super fit. They look like a model, the Instagram model, body or whatever. And oh man, they're amazing. Look at how much work they put in. or, you know, again, like somebody losing, like you said, like 100 pounds or 200 pounds, and like we focus on the extremes, right?
Mhm.
But it's a lot of work, and it's an achievement, and it is something that I think we need to recognize, that when people get up every day and they put their shoes on and they get out there and they're even walking, or, you know, maybe they're just doing like the bare minimum, you know, but
Mhm.
they're trying, they're putting in the effort, right? Maybe they're sustaining their weight, you know, not dropping a ton of weight. I think that that is important to also see as a win and as a success. And I think maybe look at that, you know,
Well, I think it's, I agree. I think it's,
maybe
we
like
look,
how many days on the calendar you
right.
can get out there. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, and I agree. I think it's one of those things of how we focus so much on the big stuff that we forget the littles, you know, and that's so true. Is just like, you know, like I said, I hit the big goals, you know, and I'd had little goals along the way, but now all of a sudden I hit the big ones, and I'm like, okay, now what, you know? But I still have some of the ones, you know, I've been doing 100 miles every month of active movement, as I call it. You know,
Yeah.
I get up and I run, or I, you know, sometimes I jog. I mean, depends on how I'm feeling that day, how my legs are, because they're getting pretty beat up. But I also have, I've been on a run streak of how many days in a row can I run at least 1 mile. You know, and 1 mile isn't that much, and that's one of the hard parts. Is there was a time, like for a little bit there, where I was just hitting like 1 mile every day, but it was still a mile. But I think I can't remember. I'm over 500 days in a row. Uh-oh, I lost you.
Do you like the BeastNet? Do you want to keep hearing it? Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more at BeastNetPod.
But anyways, so I wanted to tell you about what is going to be coming up for this retreat, this business launch.
Yeah, I've seen a lot on that. I mean, it's one of those things I would love to come over to Hawaii and be part of it, but I don't know if we're coming over this year. So I don't know. It's some people, that most people, anyone who listens to the podcast heard me talk about it. There's a very good chance that we're moving to Texas. So probably at the end of next year. So a lot of our travel is either on hold, or the travel is going to be going to Texas to like look at places and stuff like that. So, so
What
even
part?
this, huh? We're thinking
What
right
part?
above Conroe, which is right above Houston. It's about 45 minutes out of
Okay.
Houston, but it's my company's looking into opening an office down there, and if they do, I'm going to go down and probably run it. So
Okay, so this is a promotion opportunity for sure.
yeah, it's a promotion opportunity. So that's kind of even, you know, like I said, I'm doing the only Spartans I'm signing up for this year are all in Texas, San Antonio, and Dallas.
Nice.
Because we're going to go use those as excuses to go do races, also to go look at, you know, different areas, which we did last year when we were in Dallas, because this has been something that's been in the works to my company for a while. So, but yeah.
Nice.
So,
well, that's understandable. Absolutely. But you can definitely attest to how amazing it is to come out to Hawaii and spend some time here.
Yeah. If my wife had a choice, that would be where we would be moving if we could.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw her comments about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I think a lot of people use, like the Spartan race out here, as an excuse to, like, you know, come to Hawaii. And Hawaii is just one of those destinations that everybody in the world wants to come to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so that was what was part of what inspired one of my locations. My other locations of this year will be Montana. Obviously, I'm from Montana originally, so that's part of the reason. But the other part of what I'm building is also a connection to the local culture. So the name of the retreat is Warpaint Warrior Retreat. And each part of that represents something. So it's not a retreat in like the way that you might traditionally think of a retreat, like, you know, spa and like massage and 5-star hotel and you know, these are Spartans, like, come on.
Oh yeah.
So we're talking cabins and camp and tents and, you know, roughing it a little bit more. but there is an element also of relaxation to it. So what do I mean by each part of the 3 words? Warpaint Warrior Retreat all represent an aspect. Warpaint is about that mental aspect that we talked about. So preparing yourself for battle. I once was a boxer, and I know what it's like to have to get myself mentally in the space to willingly go into a ring in front of other people who are judging you, literally, and allow someone to try to hit you in the face. Let's think about this for a moment. It's not a very logical thing. And neither is paying $150 to go crawl through the mud and the sticks and right? Yeah. And barbed wire. So I'm in good company, with the self-inflicted torture, I guess. But it does take a certain aspect, right? It takes, a lot of people ask me, they've never done a Spartan race. They say, I'm just not in the shape for it. I just can't possibly do it. And I look at them and I say, anyone can do a race. You just do it at your own pace. Maybe you go with some friends, you get some help. You're never alone when you're out there. And really what it comes down to again is that mental preparation, right? But also, if you want to go to the next level and you want a podium and you want to go to the next level and become elite, you have to mentally prepare for war, for battle. Yes. Okay. So that's the day 1 before the race. So they're 3-day workshop, basically, a 3-day camp out. And the day before, we're going to prepare. We're going to bring in some cultural elements. For Hawaii, it'll be a luau. Okay. And then there'll be the day of the race. And also, there's things in here like that. If I get down in the details and the weeds of it, it'll take a lot longer. I don't want to take up too much of your time or give away too much, but there will be things like yoga. And also I'm in talks with some of the athletes that I mentioned about being guest speakers so that we can get, like a one-on-one session where they're like right there at the camp and they're talking to all of our retreat members there and all our warriors and, kind of like a Q&A and that I just thought that'd be kind of a cool element. So I'm in the talks with them about that. We'll see how that goes, so I can get signed up for that. But then there's the aspect of I'm going to have trainers that have ran in Spartan races. Some of them may be, SGX trained. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's like Spartan trained on Spartan obstacles. And so it'll be people with experience and training, and there'll be races that will run in the open, and we'll run together as a team. It'll be optional, of course, if you want to do your own thing. And then after that, right? So that's the warrior aspect. That's the action part of it, right? Yeah. And then the final day is the final piece of it following the race, is the time to reflect on what went wrong, what went right. You leave, right? You depart, you retreat. And that's that final piece. And that is just as important as the mental and physical preparation, right? That is just as important as nutrition, your training, the action of doing, and I think that's another piece that a lot of us are leaving out. We're forgetting to do the recovery. We're forgetting to roll our legs and get the massage and, talk to our coaches or do a mental checklist. What went right? What went wrong? Where do I need to improve? Right. Yeah. And so we'll have some guidance through that as well with the trainers. So that in a nutshell, is what it is. And with it being Hawaii, we will draw on the Polynesian warrior culture. So there'll be elements infused through the retreat of that. For Montana, we will be drawing on the Native American culture. There's quite a few tribal reservations in the area, and some really old history in the area of warrior rituals and things like that. So both of them will draw on that. And then after this year, my goal is to include places like Norway, so Vikings. And then obviously Greece will have to be in there as well, because we're going to have Spartans. So I plan to branch out and hopefully take this global, depending on how well it goes. So yeah. Do you have any questions?
A little bit. Sorry, I bumped my microphone there. I mean, one, I want to say it just sounds like an awesome idea. I mean, it's fun to have a retreat like that where you have a bunch of people together. I mean, some of the best experiences I've had have been on those races where we've gotten, you know, not organized like you're doing, but like just where we got together and we all rented a big house and all of us stayed together and we worked, you know, we cooked, we all did everything together. And the experience of that was so much more than just the race. And that's what sounds amazing with this is it sounds like, from everything I'm hearing, you're taking the race experience and then upping it by putting together, helping people mentally get prepared for it, get them into it that day. And then that cool down that none of us ever do, because we're all horrible about that. I mean, especially like trifecta weekends where we go do a beast and then come back the next day and do 2 more races, you know? So, I mean, the questions I do have, I mean, what kind of, I mean, is there going to be like the retreat? Is it going to be mental and physical, kind of, you know, that wind down of the stretching and the rolling and everything else, and maybe like a yoga, stuff like that, just kind of really getting people, you know, which would be one of those things that, I mean, different, you know, the Polynesians and everything else may have a different way of, you know, coming down after a battle or whatever, you know, and that might be kind of, you know, one of those that things that you're thinking of putting into the retreat part and all that.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of the practitioners for both locations will be local to the area, or have a lot of local knowledge as well. And we're definitely going to draw on those elements. With the recovery aspect, maybe not as much. I've found more about the mental preparation, but the idea is definitely to have that space there. So I'm bringing therapists, you know, so they'll be on site, and so you don't have to go and worry about like searching them out. It'll probably be a little bit difficult to make sure everyone gets a massage, because obviously with depending on the size, I mean, for the Hawaii one, probably 70 people minimum are going to be there, right? So can't guarantee that everyone's going to get a massage, but it is going to be something that's going to be available, as well as guided yoga stretches specific to recovery, because there are things that you can do post running that are very, very important. There's a practitioner here that works on just like stretching the fascia. It's like there's like some weird stretches there. So she's going to be there helping. And then there's, as far as like some of the cultural elements too that I'm bringing in, I've got a historian that tells like legends of the Hawaiian people and like Hawaiian battles and things like that. So like a storyteller, campfire, ukulele playing, you know, kind of post event and stuff. So for the evening. So those are going to be there. I'm also bringing in a couple of henna artists so that they can do henna tattoos the day before and help you design something that'll be of Polynesian style, but also your own. We don't want to like rip off and duplicate Polynesian style. We'll just be like respectful, but like kind of drawing on that same element. So everyone goes into battle with their either their like tattoo, their henna tattoo if they want. We'll be doing obviously war paint as well. So I mean, there's a lot. There's some, like I said, there's so many different aspects that I'm including to it. It could take a while to go over all of it, but as far as the recovery, I think the main focus on that is definitely like the massage and the stretching, and it'll be group stretching, yoga stretches and stuff, and next to the ocean. So that's pretty cool.
That just makes everything better. So It's funny. One of my best times running a 5K was actually while I was in Hawaii running in Maui. So while I was there over in August, it was just right there next to the ocean and just take off and go running down, down the sidewalk right along the ocean. I mean, it changes everything when you're right there. So that is one thing that I love about Hawaii is the weather and the beach. So
yeah, it's great. Have you, when you were here, did you go to the North Shore at all on Oahu?
I don't think I did this time. I was trying to remember, but we have multiple times. I mean, because we've been there. I think this was our 4th or 5th year that we went. So, and I know we've gone to the North Shore a few times.
So you're familiar with the famous like surf town Haleiwa?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Amber has a shirt.
So
has a hoodie with Haleiwa, and everyone always comments on it because it doesn't look like it says Haleiwa. I am the worst when it comes to Hawaiian names. I say them all wrong, but I know Haleiwa because I get caught, corrected on that one all the time. So
yeah. It's funny. I've studied 3 different languages, and I've had they come pretty easily to me. But I cannot get Hawaiian language down. I stumble over it so bad. So I feel you there. But the reason I bring that up is just so you have an idea of where we're going to be located. We're actually going to be up there next to Haleiwa, but more like what they call like the country, because I chose the location based on the fact that it is more remote, and I want people to have that experience of seeing the night sky without a bunch of city lights.
Yeah. Of
seeing the ocean with, at nighttime if they want to walk out to the beach and stuff. So we'll have that kind of access. And our fire pit is like right next to the ocean.
Yeah.
So like waves are crashing, and we're kind of out at like the very end of the point of Oahu, and it's just kind of wild and beautiful out there. So very similar to Maui in that aspect.
Nice. And that was one thing, because I know when we went there, Amber had never been to Maui. So this last time we made sure we went to Maui. Because I was there, but I mean, I was there, I'm not going to say how long ago, because that'll make me feel really old, but over 20 years ago. So it had been a long time, but Maui just, to me, seems more laid back. But also that's because most time we spend a lot of time in Waikiki, because that's where our condo is. So that's where we stay. But when you go to the North Shore, you go to Haleiwa, you go to all those places, you get that same laid back feeling that you get over in Maui. So I love those areas. And what's funny is actually while you're talking about this, I keep looking up because I have 2 screens, and the screen above right now, there's nothing on it. And my background is the sunset in Hawaii. So that I took like 2 years ago when we were there. That's just like my favorite picture that I've ever taken. And it's this, I can't remember the name of the beach. I can never remember it. It's some random beach that was on King Kamehameha Highway. But there's an island that's just out, like 200 yards out, and the sun sets right behind it.
Right.
So it's just, I love every time we go there.
You should send it to me. I could find out.
Yeah. Every time we go there, I have to find that beach every time and go do it. So yeah, I can send it to you. So
yeah,
it's a good one.
Cool. And then also you've been to Montana as well. I mean, so you can attest to how epic and gorgeous that is. The venue location for that will be a couple miles down the road on the lake, beautiful Flathead Lake, with lake access and access to, and May is actually, I mean, it usually does snow the week before, let's be honest.
It's a little chilly. I mean, the highway to the sun isn't open that when we're there. So
yeah, that is the unfortunate thing. It's just a little too early for a lot of the activities, like up in Glacier Park and stuff. That lake pretty much never gets warm enough.
No.
But it's still fun for kayaking. There's lots of really great hiking in the area. There's a lot of great restaurants down there as well, and so we'll definitely just have those beautiful lake views and be in the woods. Again, I chose a location that's going to be a little bit more remote, but in relation to venue, in relation to nice restaurants and things like that, it'll be 30 minutes, 30 minutes to restaurants, maybe 10 minutes from venue.
Nice. Yeah, because I know Flathead Lake's right there.
House look.
So
Yeah, and that'll be the cool thing. A lot of people always talk about like after they race, they want to go jump in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So they can come right down to the retreats and do that. And there's gonna be options for people who don't want to do the all-inclusive retreat option. And there'll be an option for like people to, if they want to purchase like say an entire cabin, and they themselves are going to do the retreat, but then maybe the rest of the people are not, then they can do an add-on fee, or just like purchase the cabin, so there's going to be like a la carte and all-inclusive options. So
Nice.
there will also be like tent space available for people. We have camper vans in Hawaii that you can rent too, and we have spots at the venue there that you can pull up and park your camper van. And so there'll be lots of options. It's just kind of basically hosting a camp out, or coronavirus restrictions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think it's just going to be like a pretty good rally and after party.
Sounds awesome. What the only thing that's bad, honestly, for me.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. It was the Beast OCR that inspired. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would say the only thing that's really bad for me on this, both the venues you're talking about, this is the 1 year I'm not doing either one, because I'm not going to Montana either. So, because that weekend I'm going to Bend, Oregon. So, but
what the heck, man?
it was a choice because I've done, and I hate to say this, I love Montana. Montana's where I got my start. Montana's where I did my very first Spartan race, because I did a beast to start with, because I don't do research. We've already figured this part out. But Rise Challenge events is one that I do a lot with Tammy down in Bend, and she's got one of her races is that weekend. And so I told her I'd be there, and then all of a sudden, right after she put her dates, Spartan came out with theirs, and I'm like, well, I've already committed to Tammy, so I'm gonna be in Bend that weekend. So
those races look awesome, actually. And I'm having the same problem. They end up lining up with the races I've already purchased, already committed to. So I'm hoping to get out there soon and check that out. Seen some good things. I've heard some good things.
Because they're doing it the first week, the weekend that Montana is, and then they're also in Memorial Day weekend. They're doing 2 races that weekend, along with
I can make that one, because they actually moved Seattle and Hawaii. So
yeah, because there's 2 races the Memorial Day weekend, and it's going to be one of them. And on Saturday, I think it is, they actually even have a gun safety class that you can add on to your race. So yeah.
You said Memorial. Sorry, I thought you meant Labor
Memorial.
Day.
So May.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay, cool. Well, I'll see where I'm at. I'm debating about staying in Montana for a little while. I've got family there, and I do like an extended stay on the mainland so I can make it around to some races.
That would be cool. I mean, I know that since you moved to Hawaii, it's a lot harder to get to races, and it's one of those things. I'm definitely gonna have to plan next year to make sure I hit one of those, at least one, Montana or Hawaii, so I can get to your retreat, because it sounds amazing. I mean, it sounds, like I said, my favorite part of Spartan and OCR and what I've talked about to most people is the community. And your retreat just sounds like basically you're building more on the community of, hey, you're going to do Spartans, but really the best part about Spartan is the community. So let's all get together, and figure out how to get ready for the race, and also learn about, Polynesian and, Native American cultures, depending on which one you're at, and how they would prepare. And then let's all go together and destroy this race. And then we'll come back and, recover together. I mean, it's, you basically taken the best part and made it better. So is what it sounds like.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. No, I was really inspired by what our team events, what it did for me, gathering in Seattle, gathering in Portland. And when when COVID happened, I had just gotten back from Jacksonville and a race SoCal right before that. And I remember like, as the races were getting canceled, like at first it was like, okay, like we're all kind of in this together. And then, you know, we all kind of were like, okay, we accept the fact that we're not gonna be able to do some stuff for a little while, like 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like the reality hit, the like, holy shit, we might not be able to do anything for like a year. And I remember feeling like so lost and thinking that, and people were like, oh, well, just people who didn't do Spartan races, who didn't quite understand, they're like, well, so what? Just go out and go running. Isn't that what you do? Like, you just go run, you just go work out, right? That's all it is, right? And I was like, no, like these races, these events, like, and not just Spartan, like it's other events too, you know, it's the, you know, maybe like a 5K or something, but these events, when you start like making these friends and building this community and this connection with people, you run with a team or you train together, it becomes like this place that restores your faith in humanity.
Yeah.
You know, it reconnects you in a way that we've lost in our society. We've become so digital and so separated and segregated, and you forget all of that. You know, the politics go away, the religion goes away, like, you know, a lot of that stuff just doesn't even matter. You know, you become like the best friends with somebody and have completely different views and be out there racing with each other. And so it's what I saw was like, I saw that collapsing, and I saw how many people were affected by that. I was affected by that. And I thought, man, we need something, you know, and going back to the races, it was missing because everybody was dispersing.
Yeah.
Now we can't even be together. We're not allowed to congregate. We're not allowed to, you know, have our team tent. We're not, all these things got taken away. And I mean, I know we're coming out of this. And so I'm like, I want to be there to provide that need, you know, to provide that service of like community and collection point, and you know what I mean? So,
No, I completely get it, because I mean that was one of my favorite parts. Like I said, I love the community, I love all that. And the first race I did when we were coming out of, you know, and they started finally doing races again, I did Vegas, and I went down there, and I mean it was Vegasona. And it was the first time like I'd gone to a race since I'd lost a bunch of the weight and everything else. And I'm like, I'm running competitive. This is going to be so cool. And then after the race ended, I'm like, okay, there's nobody here because we can't stay. We can only come in 30 minutes before our time. And it just, you know, it sounds bad to say, I felt dejected. I just walked back to the car and I'm like, okay, I guess that was it, you know. And that it really showed me how much I love the racing, but I love the people better, you know. And that's why, like, you know, even when I did Washougal this year, I ran competitive, but then I turned around and jumped back in, you know, because I gotten 2 entries and I jumped back in and ran open so that I could run the competitive and say, hey, this is my time. I did amazing, but now I'm going to go spend some time with my friends, you know, and have some fun. So I get the whole, and that's
a
like
great
I said,
race to do that too.
yeah. That's why I love everything you're talking about here. So it's amazing.
That's awesome. That means a lot to me because I know you talk to a lot of people. You know, you see a lot of different things going on out there in the OCR world and community. So the fact that you're behind this is like, you know, really inspiring me. Thank you.
Well, big time. I mean, this is I think it's an amazing idea because, like I said, this is the part of OCR and everything else that we all love, and that I feel like COVID has taken away from us in a lot of ways. Because even, I mean, you even look at some of the teams aren't coming back like they were. I mean, we're, you know, I mean, because we both know Beast OCR. I posted something at Beast OCR when it snowed. I'm like, yeah, Snurpees, everyone do Snurpees. And not one person said anything.
Crickets. Yeah.
Like crickets. And it's like, if this was 2 years ago, I would have had 50 videos of people doing Snurpees within like an hour. And for people that don't know Snurpees, it's burpees in the snow, you know, and you got to get your face in the snow or it's not a real Snurpee. So, I mean, and that was it. And that was one of the things that really showed to me how much, we've kind of lost some of that community. And this idea of yours, I think, is a great way to try and get that community and bring them back. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And I mean, I did some research, market research about it, and, retreats are just on the rise. I think in general, like, people want to be connected to other people. We want to have that real live human connection. So I'm hoping that we can pull that off. It's going to be a lot of different elements. I'm still looking for volunteers for people to be involved. So if you know of anyone, feel free to send them my way. I have background in event management, event planning, and project management, stuff like that. So,
so
I'm
this
not
isn't something you don't know. You understand how to do all this. You've done it before. So
yes, I have done it before. Just not quite to this level, because this is going to be global. This is not, this is not small. And I've got the blessing of Spartan as well. They're totally stoked and on board, and I'll be chatting with them next week. So I'm eager to see what comes of that, and release the details on that as soon as it drops. But in the meantime, I mean, if people are interested, they can go. I have a Facebook group right now to sort of build the digital community, and as a point of releasing information as well. So it's Warpaint Warrior Retreat.
And we'll make sure there's a link in there when we put out the episode too. So
okay, cool. Awesome. So so you can just look that up. People can reach out to me via email as well, and all that information I'll give to you so that you can share. So
perfect. Right on. Have you hooked up with the Hawaii Spartan Ohana over there?
I have, yes.
I love those guys. I love them. Yeah, they're my people. Every time I'm in Hawaii, I have to go hang out with Richard and everybody. And we had a huge barbecue after the race last year, and it was so cool. I mean, yeah.
They're definitely they've been included in this. I mean, I've shared it on the page there. I'm connected with a few of them also. Got to meet a few at the race this last year, and they've been really great. We're under pretty tight entry restrictions and stuff right now, but we've been blessed with the ability to go out and do a lot of training in the outdoors. That hasn't been too limited. So we've actually had, they've started doing group training events, and I'm going to be leaning on them to sort of help maybe create some of the train up aspects of it. So stay tuned for that.
Oh yeah, they're like I said, they're amazing. I got to bug Darren because Darren's supposed to be making a tattoo that I'm going to be getting, but so I'm supposed to be drawing a tattoo. And I've seen the prelim, but it's been a little while. I wasn't supposed to share it because it's something we talked about on course in Hawaii when we were doing the races. So, nice. But which still I'm shocked that this year somehow we were at multiple races and we never ran into each other. That's I think crazy. I saw you. It was what was it? I think was it Seattle? It was one of them. I saw you for like 2 seconds in like when we were doing the bag exchange, and that was it. And we said like hi, and then never saw each other again. So it was so weird that we were in because we were in Hawaii together, all these different races and never ran in. It's like how? But
I think I should go to Texas then. That's the answer. I gotta come meet up with you in Texas and go run in Texas.
Yeah, because I'm doing.
I do like the Dallas one. But I've been looking at Austin.
Good. Yeah, Dallas one's good. So San Antonio, like I said, I'm doing San Antonio in March, the super and the sprint. And then I'm signed up for the beast right now in Dallas, but there's a chance that might switch to an ultra. So I haven't decided yet. Oof. Because I did the ultra in Dallas this year, and it sounds bad to say this. My whole goal was if I'm coming home with a belt buckle, it's from Dallas. It's from Texas. I'm getting a belt buckle in Texas.
I love it. No, that's perfect.
They ran out of belt buckles after I think I was racer number like 230 out of like 300 and something. And they were already out when I got there. And I'm like, really? I finally get the buckle and you run out. So I think I need to go back and do another one just so I can leave Texas.
Did they send it to you?
I've got it. I mean, I got it eventually, but it was just like, it was that whole thing of finishing the race. And I'm in the moment. And you have that moment where you're like, I can either be a human being and just be like, okay, cool, and be calm about it. Or, you know, there was that split second where I was about to just lose it. And then I'm like, this isn't their fault. This isn't them. You know, you're in that emotional thing of you just finished, you know, 30 something miles with 70 obstacles. Don't be that guy. So
Don't
yeah.
tearing out on them, right?
Yeah, no tearing out on them. But it was one of those things. They gave me and I want to use it on my age group. They gave me a card that's valid for 30 burpees. So I think I'm going to take that card with me, and I'm running age group. When I fail an obstacle, I'm just going to give them that card and I'm going to keep going.
That's cool.
They say it's valid for 30
those.
burpees. So I'm like, cool, then I can use it on an age group, right? And just here's my 30 burpees. I'm out.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if it's valid, but I'm going to try it.
Make sure you take it up to the camera.
Yeah. Here's my card. It says I got 30 burpees because you guys messed up. So
oh my gosh, I love it. I'll have to figure out how to get one of those.
yeah. Well, you just gotta like not get your belt buckle after an ultra. They give you one. So I was
okay.
just like, yeah. But I mean, eventually I got it in the mail. It's, you know, it's downstairs, and I haven't hung it up yet. I need to go down. I was rearranging my gym yesterday, and I was like, there's a whole bunch of medals that are like in a pile next to the thing that I need to hang up on the wall, that I've just been like, I'll get to it.
Yeah, I know. I have like mine are just in a pile too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like, it is about the medal in a way. Like, it's good to have that, you know.
Yes.
It is nice to have those things, like the physical evidence of like, I accomplished this, you know. It has that closure for you. But I mean, it is also not about the medal for so many of us too. I mean, it's a complex thing to describe, because
it is very
like,
complex.
Yeah. So
because it's one of those things, especially like
the achievement.
Spartan. I mean, not to sound bad, I have, you know, last year I did, I don't know, 4 trifectas, so three of each race, so 12 races plus I think I had a couple extras. So all those medals look the same. So I couldn't tell you most time which one was, you know, Montana versus Seattle, you know. But what I can tell you is the experiences that I had in both of them. You know, Montana, I rucked it because I was stupid. Worst idea ever. Don't ever do that. I rucked the whole trifecta weekend, the whole thing. Like I said, worst idea ever. But the Dallas, you know, even without the medal, I still had, like, I met people. I've got a great friend named Jamie that, you know, we ran into each other on the race, and she actually lives in the town of Texas, the Conroe, that I want to move to.
Wow.
So, and, you know, we ended up having dinner with them on Monday night afterwards, and I made amazing friends. And that's kind of, you know, that's the point. That's what it more comes down to. But at the moment, I was like, I want that damn medal.
Right. I mean, that can be like sometimes the thing that keeps me going too, is like, I'm like, okay, I can't quit, because even though I want to, because I want to get that achievement at the end, you know, but along the way, meeting all the people and stuff. And so, yeah, I completely understand that feeling for sure.
And that's why I think
that's also something too. I'm going to include, I forgot to mention, there'll be, for retreat members, there'll be a merch bag.
Oh, nice.
So it won't be a medal, obviously, because you're not completing, like, it's not quite the same as like a race. But there's going to be some fun merch in there, and things that they can collect as they go to all the different retreats. So it'll be warrior related.
And it'll be one of those things too. I mean, it's the people. I mean, that's what we keep coming back to. It's the people. I mean, the people you're going to meet at this. This is why I'm like, I really want to go to Hawaii now. But I mean, not just because I want to go to Hawaii all the time, but I definitely, you know, I don't know. I'm sure if I mentioned it to Amber, she'd try and find a way to go to Hawaii, because she loves Hawaii. She feels like that's her place that she should be, but I don't make enough money for that. So yet. But, you know, so I love the idea of the people, because that's the part that hit me the most. You know, when everything opened back up, is we didn't have the team tents. We didn't have all that stuff. Like when I did Vegas, I always signed up under Warrior State of Mind. I never saw one person there the whole time. Out of the blue, I ran into like 2 people that I just happened to see because they were in my heat.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. I mean, the people that were in my heat are the ones that I talked to, said, oh, hey, how you doing? And other than that, I saw nobody, you know, and immediately, and that was 2 races. And then afterwards I went to my car, and because I raced age group, there was no helping each other. So it was none of the normal camaraderie. So the first ones I did was Vegas, and I didn't feel very Spartan-y. I mean, it was like afterwards, I'm like, I felt deflated, and I'm like, let's go do something else. And we went to, the Valley of Fire and a few other things in Vegas. And I went and ran by the Hoover Dam and did some other stuff. Cause I'm just like, I didn't get the experience, the whole experience, and those people and the party afterwards and talking to everyone. That's the whole experience. And that's what, like I said, that's why I think your idea is amazing, because it gives you the experience beforehand, at the race, and then after. So, I mean, instead of, a couple hours of experience, you're giving 3 days.
Yep. And that's what I'm hoping to provide. That's it. You got it. So, yeah, I mean, just, if you can't make it, you can't make it. I get it, but if you want to be able to make it for another year, share the idea, tell others. If you're excited about it, pass it on. If you think someone's even remotely interested in that, Montana is going to be geared more towards our beginner racers. We're going to do the group run as the sprint, and I mean, all are welcome at all levels. Preferably people who've done the races before, but if people are wanting to learn about it, I'm going to welcome them as well. Hawaii is going to be focused on the beast run, so probably people with a little bit more experience are going to want to try that one out, because that is a real beast. It's hot as hell out there, or it can be really cold. So, but just even if they're not quite ready, maybe they want to think about doing it a year out or 2 years out or 3 years out, invite them in. They can come and join in the community on the Facebook page, get on the mailing list. They can be kept in the loop and sit back and see if they want to just, watch how things play out, before they get involved. That's fine too. So, that's all I ask, is that people just share the what I'm doing and help me build that community out there in like the digital world, so that I can build that community in the physical world as well.
Which is awesome. I mean, that's the whole point of all of this, is just to be able to, I mean, the racing, and a lot of people don't get that. They're like, oh, it's all about the racing. No, it really isn't. It's not really all about the racing. It's all about the people, getting to know people, getting to see people, all of that. That's what it's really about.
Yeah. And that connects with the vision and the mission of the people who've created these events for us. They do see that, and as you go to more all different sort of venues, not even just Spartan, but you see it over and over, like just this whole like people reconnecting, disconnecting from from the phone and whatnot, and reconnecting with each other and stuff. So if nothing else, people who are on the fence about doing any of these sort of races, a 5K or like a bicycle race or a swimming event, or whatever it might be, but you're longing for that human connection, like just go and try it. You don't have to be a podium chaser to be there.
No, you don't. I mean, I didn't even, this was how many, I don't even want to talk about how many races I've done, but I've done like 56, and I've only done 3 that were age group, and it was because I finally hit that point that I wanted to see. I wanted to see what I could do. My goal when I went to Vegas was to do a sprint less than an hour. I missed it by 24 seconds. I was really mad. But it is what it is. So, I mean, but I had fun and I enjoyed it and I had a blast. But like I said, the hard part was I didn't have that connection with people. So it just didn't feel like, I didn't get the real feeling of Spartan until I went and did, Montana in May. But even then, it was only really because we had a house that we'd get every year, and there was like 12 of us in this house.
Yeah.
So
the beast house.
the beast barracks, as we always called it. So we had that house with all the people. So then it wasn't, I had that connection, but even the venue didn't have it, but I had the connection at the house.
Yeah.
So that gave me back that connection. And then Hawaii, because we were around the Ohana and we were there for 2 weeks, that was just amazing too. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's do it. And I'll definitely keep you posted on like how it goes. And as we roll out, the registration is being worked on by the registration company. I have a business that's just taking that piece for me and building that out. So that's going to be dropping right around the 1st of February. So should be soon. And yeah, pretty much just getting like the stuff finalized. You know, people can sign up, they can join the group and reach out to me. And then once it gets rolling, I mean, it's limited space, so you got to get your name on the list, things like that. You reserve your spot. So,
and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think people really need to definitely, look into this. So
cool. That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for like chatting with me today. And I'm glad that we could finally catch up a little bit and, get to see each other. Hi.
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, it's been, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm glad I can record this way and I have this option, but at the same time, I'm like, I'll be honest, I am so tired of Zoom, but
the Zoom fatigue or whatever, right?
It is, because I do a lot of, I teach, construction safety, and a lot of the classes that I've had, if I'm not in person, like there's every Friday, I do a 4-hour class in the first thing in the morning that's on Zoom.
Yeah.
And trying to teach on Zoom, you don't get the conversations back and forth. You don't get all that. I've got another one that I know I've got to take a class in 2 weeks. That's going to be 3 days, 8 hours a day on Zoom. I know I'm going to be like, yeah, but it's the world we're in now.
Let's get together in Texas later this year. Okay.
I would love to.
And we'll do like an in-person one of these if you want. We'll do a chat, a live chat. We don't even have to, like, we were face to face.
I would love to. I know we've done it. I've done it very rarely. I've been able to do that. I've done it a couple of times. I did it once in Hawaii with Serena in the middle of a hurricane. And then I did it one time with Nick after we did a race. Me and Nick sat on the deck at his lake house and just talked. So those are my favorite ones, because then we're there. We can talk, we can interact, and it's a lot better than Zoom. So we'll definitely have to get that set up. So perfect.
That'd be so cool.
All right.
I look forward to seeing you.
It's good seeing you too. Thank you for sharing everything. We will make sure that all the links to get to all your stuff is on the when we share it. And I can't wait to hopefully see you sometime this year. So I think I'm going to do a few more races than I've signed up for now, but I'm trying to balance that because I want the triathlon too. So I've got a couple of triathlons I'm going to do before the big one. So yeah.
Yeah, I know how it goes. I'm only going to do 1 or 2. I usually stay in January, and then by the time I've reached December, I ended up with 12 or something.
Yeah. This last year was supposed to be my like step back from Spartan a little bit, and I ended up doing 4 trifectas. So
and you just like filled it, yeah.
Part of it too was I just kept using the free races. I kept getting free races for things. They're like, here's a free race for this, and I'm like, well, I got to use it.
Like, oh, that's free. Okay, yeah, I get it. Well, plus you got to use your free burpees this year. So
yep, I got to use that card. So
there you go, each group. Awesome.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Good luck
right.
on your beginning races this year.
Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Good luck on your, the retreat, and any help we can do here at BeastNet, let us know. We'll help you out.
You guys are awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.